Obviously, we know that the EV market has slowed down, right? Tesla is sort of the poster child for that. I guess, is there any other case to be made now about when growth could be maybe reaccelerating?
Yeah, I think, and first of all, Julie, thank you for having me on. I know we have a little bit of a disconnect on the audio side here, but clearly, as you mentioned, we're in a situation where EVs have fallen into kind of a middle period where we've seen an early adoption, primarily in coastal states, where tax incentives have helped boost those sales, and now we're kind of in this period where the rest of the country needs to follow suit. And with about 50% of the U.S. not having garages and range anxiety being a real thing, it's really a time will tell sort of scenario for the EV market. It creates a great amount of uncertainty, and certainly as we've seen with the automakers pushing out some plans for some of the massive amounts of capex that are needed to build out for this expected growth. It's really in the next 3 to 5 years have a lot of unknowns that we're going to live through, and so we're looking for other areas within the auto space to potentially participate.
Al, same question to you. I'm just interested, what do you think explains kind of the slowdown in EV demand that we've seen, Al, and what do you think maybe reaccelerates it?
I think a few things. One of which is, you can almost go back to the euphoria of 2001, 2002, when Tesla could sell anything it could make, it could charge anything. And I almost think that sent a false signal to the industry. I can make $50,000 EVs, I can make $60,000 EVs, and they'll fly off the shelves, the metaphorical shelves, dealer lot. And what we found now is, we have a dearth of cheaper EVs in this country. It's not the problem in China. Problem in China is there's too many EVs fighting for market share. That's been an issue for Tesla. Here, we don't have $25,000, $30,000 EVs, plus Brian's range anxiety and some of those challenges in the middle of the country with adoption. And you see Q1 sales still grew. They're up about 8% year over year for all electric vehicles, but they're not even anywhere close to the dreams of 21 and 22.
And so I guess, Brian, the question is then, do you make your decisions in the auto industry based on overall sales, right? Do you look at strategy for hybrids, which have seen this resurgence, for example?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. We look at the entire ecosystem, whether it's the 16 or so million units that are going to get sold this year on the new side, whether it's the 37 to 40 million units that are going to get sold within the used vehicle market. And that's been a really big challenge for the past 3 years. And then there's about 290 million vehicles on the road in the U.S. So we take really kind of a look at the entire market. But speaking just about the new vehicle market, what we know is whether those vehicles are going to be internal combustion engine vehicles sold, whether they're going to be hybrids, whether they're going to be electric vehicles, they're going to need to be serviced. And I think customer engagement and customer connection is going to be really important. So we look in areas like the automotive dealers as ways to be really propulsion agnostic with great cash flow generative businesses, where whether an automaker outside of, let's say, Tesla that does not have its dealerships, whether they sell an ICE vehicle, a hybrid, or an EV, those dealerships are going to be there for the warranty period and help drive customer engagement and share of wallet.
I like that, propulsion agnostic. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
Should be on a T-shirt.
Yes.
Al, I wanted your take on hybrids too, because we got the Ford Q1 sales today, and it was interesting because you saw hybrid sales. I think they were up like more than 40%. What explains that interest in hybrids? Is it pricing, charging, both?
Yeah, Ford 42%, I think.
Yeah.
I think for the industry, up 28 about 20 beat all EV sales for the quarter. I think a couple of things. One is you see some of these infrastructure and what Brian just talked about, and it's almost like the hybrid industry had free advertising. You go into the dealership, I'd like to be all electric, and then some of the reality set in, and you say, well, this hybrid is cheaper, and I get 50, 60 miles a gallon. I'm still doing something good for the environment. So they've sort of enjoyed a bit of a renaissance. So I think that's part of it. I think that maybe 2 years ago we thought that hybrids are a bridge technology to all electrics. I think now the narrative will start to form like hybrids will always exist. And every traditional car will probably have some hybrid option and all electrics. So hybrids, you probably got no love when EV euphoria was at its peak, and then the reality of the situation, they're pretty good cars.
I also have to wonder, Brian, you've had this pushback from the petroleum industry, right? Saying we're going to need fossil fuels for a long time. And I wonder if, as that message has gotten louder, consumers maybe hear that and say, okay, I don't have to give up my gas car right now. I can still, rely on this fuel that isn't going anywhere.
Yeah, I think, with car density about 2.2 per household in the U.S., you may see a situation where for a very long period of time, we have a family car that is electric, that has more or less a defined radius, that is used for family trips in town. And then there's an internal combustion engine vehicle that eliminates a lot of that range anxiety and speaks to the idea that the petroleum industry, probably rightly so, is saying is that fueling stations are going to be around, and people want to be mobile, and they don't want to. We've all seen the unfortunate pictures of Teslas lining up waiting for fast charging stations along California highways, and those are unique situations, of course, but they're impactful as it relates to consumer behavior. So I think we're going to be in a situation where full EV adoption may not be nearly as fast as what prognosticators originally anticipated, and we're going to go back 5 and 10 years to make those claims. But it's a slower growth period.
Brian, Al, thank you guys both so much for joining the show today. Appreciate it.